to steal.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Now we're going. Now something's happening. What's this button do? Oh, looky there. Looky there. Now something. Okay. All right. We're going to call that something. Hey, everybody. Who's on here with me this evening? Got a Bob on here. Got a Jim Stewart. Got a David Caillou. I'm referencing you in... hi, Bob. Referencing you in an upcoming R. 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 Howdy. Howdy, Team Pulp Alley. Red Mist down in New Mexico. Somebody was asking how come we don't have Phoenix on the list of places that we're going to do Pulpalooza at. And, you know, any place is open. It's not like Phoenix is being, you know, blacklisted or anything like that. I used to kick a few cans around the Fountain Hills area. So here we are, set up for the next scenario. We're not going to go over a lot of this right now, but stuff. We're going to do some rolls and things like that. So we are. Oh dang it! I don't want to talk about that stuff because I don't want to talk about things that I'm going to talk about again. What can I talk about? We're going to go officially live in a little less than dos minutos. Oh, I don't have glasses. Oh, found them. So, a big howdy to everybody. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about with you. Well, let's see what our lag time is today. Change the... It's about 7 seconds, so that wasn't bad. What is it, baby? What?
Delayed.
No, it's 8 seconds or 7
Very
seconds.
delayed.
Horrendous. No, that's like fairly average for the settings.
That's what
right
everybody.
Now. Fairly average. Fairly average length. That is a fairly average length.
Okay.
Fairly average. Will you shuffle
did
these
we
up?
check sound?
Yeah, already did. Okay. You'd have known that if you were on time, lady.
Well, somebody said they didn't have sound, so I wanted to be sure.
All right. Shiver me timbers. I don't have sound. Howdy, howdy, says DuPont Skipper. There's a lot of places to game in Faux Enix, but we'll need a POC for the arrangements. Yeah, that's right, because you're like way down on the border, aren't you? You're like, where's Red Mist? Tucson? Are you, is he in, where's?
Tucson, I believe. I don't know. For sure, I don't want to commit.
Where?
Oh, dear God.
The Savages. The Savages. Randy Wendell, Louie. Hola, hola. It's 8 o'clock, and that means it's time for me to say. Must be that computer. I have sound on this one. Okay. Oh, you kids! I tell you what, I cannot keep up with you kids and your wacky slang. For those of you out there, I have just been informed that POC is point of contact. So for all of you out there. You know, it's funny, when we were designing Pulp Alley, Mila and I were working on Pulp Alley way back in the early 1870s or something. We insisted that we were not going to use any acronyms for anything in the rule book. Because I think that it can kind of turn off new players when they see words in there that are just abbreviated or acronyms and stuff, and it's like, what does that even mean? Anyway, I was just funning with you there, Red Mist. I knew it wasn't the Japanese candy. What is that, Pocky? I live 2 hours away from Phoenix. Okay, well that's not too bad. That's still a drive. David Kairishu, what is an AAR? Another angry rash. You know, I have one of those right here under in my armpit. We need a pock in the talk to communicate with the knock. Now that makes sense. Absolutely. I'm glad someone has agreed with me on that. I've been saying that for years. Oh, okay. And then Pocky, yes indeed. David Kairishu. Nay is playing with us on Sunday. Bessy and Nay are gonna go head to head. Check this out, what we have coming at you. We got the Purple Menace. The lovely Golgo, Satana, and the Assassins from Hell. There they are. Kind of this is a really interesting league. So this league is built with the Companion Specialists perk. And what that does is it actually kind of reduces the effectiveness of your leader a little bit. So it reduces 3 of Golgo's skills by 1 dice type. But what that does is that it helps all the other characters. And of course, she also takes the companions to give them an extra boost. So unlike most allies, so she is level 4. She doesn't have a sidekick in this league at all. But each of her allies have a 3d8 in something. I'm sorry, have a d8 in something. So she lowered 3 of her skills to help out all of her companions. So Spring here comes in at D8s on her dodge. Autumn comes in also with D8 on her dodge. Looks like they all have D8s on their dodge. Summer has D8 in her dodge. The dodging machines. Winter's the only one that breaks the rule and is the head crusher of the group. So she has 4d8 in Brawl. So she's out there to try and find folks and give them a whooping. Summer is a little bit of a plot point grabber. She's got 3 dice in finesse, so she could actually use. She's not a great fighter. None of them, other than Spring, have any shooting skill. Anyway, it's a really cool league, fun to play. Golgo definitely is an interesting character to play with her fade ability, her covert. She can definitely be very, very hard to find and to track down. And then going up against her, we have the Red Queen. The Red Queen. The Red Queen herself. So we have Red Queen here, and then we have Jack Spade, we have Rook, and we have Pop's Argosy. Good old Pop's Argosy, and then Okie June. Okie June is coming in to be the extra character for Sunday. So Red Queen's pretty interesting. She is disarming. She's also a gambler. Now, Nay played Red Queen in this league, I think exactly this league, in the little Vice Alley campaign that we did, I don't know, maybe a year or 2 years ago. I don't remember how long. We ought to do another campaign. Who wants to do a campaign with us? Jack Spade is her sidekick, and he is a headbuster from way back. So he has all of his D8s in his combat skills, and then he has, he's not particularly good might, finesse, and cunning. Those are just 2d6, and he's unlucky. How about that? He's unlucky. So Pop's Argosy is an inventor. Then we got Rook, who's just basically a brawler, and Okie June, who has her burst fire. So really cool. I do want to go ahead and do some rolls and draw some cards. So I'm going to roll these 2 dice in this here cup, just in honor of Nay or Bessy or whoever. We're going to use the pink cup.
Ooh.
Oh, this is for random events. So this is for random events. And Nay, if you could type in there, is Nay on here? Can you send me a link? Don't know what that means. Is that Okie June? Don't look at me pose. That is right. Nay, are you still on here?
I think so. Yep.
Nay, here goes. Pick red or white, Nay. Pick red or white. This is for random event. Random event. I think you have to pick red, don't you? Because you're red queen. Let's see what she decides.
She does what she wants, pal.
Red, of course. Red is a 3, so nay. Bessy will be starting off as the director. That's not what we were rolling for.
We were rolling random events, my friend.
We were rolling random events. A 3 and a 6.
3 and a 6.
3 and a 6. And we're going to be using the basic random events out of the random events thingamabobber. A 3 is a perilous. We're going to put a perilous area out there. I like that.
Ooh.
D8 from the center of the table in random direction, so 4 inches off of this away. So it's down in... I always love having little extra random events in these sort of things. You know, and they don't do much, but I still enjoy it because...
Sometimes they do, though.
They can. And
it's not often, but every once in a while.
What do I do with... There it is. And for this,
we're gonna have something pretty.
We're gonna have a hound out there. We're gonna have a mean old poochie poo. We're gonna have a boxer. Let's see. So 4 inches off this way from the random. So he's kind of hanging out right here at this corner. He's hanging out in the street corner right there. Give me 4, babe. So that area, that's Butch's area. That's Butch's corner. You don't want to come poking around Butch, because he'll get you. He'll get you. So that's where Butch is.
I got 6, so I get an extra card.
So when you start, so that's what we're going to roll for next. Nay, are we just going to consider you to be red? Let's see.
I'm fine with that.
Here's a red dice, white dice for initiative. Red dice, white dice for initiative. Here, babe, you can roll it. Red dice, white dice. Nay, you are red. So Bessy is going to start off as the director. 4 and a 5.
Who am I playing?
What? You're playing Golgo.
Golgo, okay.
Yeah. And Nay is playing Red Queen. Nay, you got 2 more rolls. You have Zelda. You have Zelda, who is your spirit guide, your mystic. Purely for entertainment purposes. So let's see if Zelda is helping out today. Got to get a 4 better. You got a 4, so you can pick one of these things. And now you don't have to pick it right now. So I'm going to try and hold this still so that you can read it. She has 2 different things that you could pick. So you can either pick Lucky Charm, which means your leader gains Lucky Devil or Danger Sense. So you have to pick one of those 2. You take your Lucky Charm, so that's not bad. You know, Lucky Devil, Danger Sense could help you get through your perils when you're going after plot points and things. And then you also have Phantom Hand. At the end of each turn, you can discard 1 card. If you do so, each opponent must discard a random card. So that's kind of interesting.
Could be.
That's kind of interesting. So, Nay, you get to decide. If you pick Lucky Charm, then you need to decide if you want to do Lucky Devil or Danger Sense, or you could do Phantom Hand. Now, you don't have to pick that right now. You can hold off on that.
You can ruminate. You can consider.
Ruminate. Hopefully, you have plenty of time, between now and then. The next thing we're going to roll for Pop's Argosy is an inventor. Pop's Argosy is an inventor. Are you sure Lucky Charm isn't a cereal?
I've never heard of that. It's the first I've ever heard.
That's the first time hearing about this. That's the first I'm hearing.
News to me.
It may be a new cereal, and I can't keep up with you kids and all your fancy,
newfangled
hula hoops and your transistor radios and your POCs.
I think it's called Pog.
Second pick is what? Pog?
Pog.
A Pog. Okay. The second pick is awesome in multiplayer game. Yeah, because you make everybody. But it also creates a lot of enemies, so I'm not sure that's such a great idea. Okay.
I don't think Red Queen or Nay have ever worried about whether they're making enemies.
This is for Pop's Argosy's inventor. Nothing. Okay. Oh. Well, there we go. Maybe I should let Bessy roll that.
Probably.
So, cards, my lovely darling. Did you stack that deck appropriately?
I did.
Okay. So you can draw the first 3 cards, and then we'll draw 3 cards for Dan.
Do I get 4 because I get a plus
That's
1?
correct.
Okay. I got Lucky Break, Steady Aim, Unseen Peril, and Disarmed. Nay got Slice and Dice, and Uncanny. Dang.
So I'm going to set them over here.
And Buy Some Time.
All right. So
Man, those are
Nay,
good ones.
give me a 4. These are the cards
No.
that What? Oh,
Those are
sorry.
for me.
Okay, up here.
It'd be nice if my cards were in front of me.
Well, we'll move them, but I want to keep track for now.
Okay.
So put them over here. So Bessy is starting off with Disarmed, Unseen Peril, Steady Aim, Lucky Break. So that's pretty nice. That's not a bad hand, really. And then Nay, here are your cards.
I learned all my
Wow.
dirty tricks from him.
Wow,
So
that's
I
pretty
know.
nice.
It's a really good hand.
That's a power hand right there. Wow.
I expected her to get the director, so
That's maybe even a foot right there.
That was my
even better than
mistake.
a hand. It's a foot. You got Buy Some Time. Really nice. Multiple uses for that.
Mm-hmm.
And Uncanny is always helpful.
Slice and Dice can be pretty brutal.
Slice and Dice is beef. That is beef.
Okay, excuse me though, but I have like an Unseen Peril and
You got Lucky Break.
Lucky
That's a
Break,
girl.
okay?
Pretty cool. Pretty cool hand. Okay.
I'm a little
and
jealous
here's the
first, but
lovely
it's fine.
table that we have set up.
Ooh.
Be sure to enjoy this. I've been wanting to get back to doing a urban setting for a while. So that's why the last few, we did so much in like jungles and
we had too much green around here.
Desert and
we don't believe in
everything
greenery
that we did, and now I'm wanting to get back to urban terrain. So
not in our windswept plains that we live.
Mm-hmm. So I got this lovely fire engine out here. I love that little fella.
It's a popular one.
Lots of cars. I still have, maybe about a half dozen or so that I need to put together. Okay. Hey, everybody, listen up real quick here.
Not on our side of the state. The eastern side has
no greenery in Oklahoma.
We're dry and barren.
There are green parts of Oklahoma. Hey, we're shipping these out with every box that we ship. I want to make sure wall supplies last. There's not a lot of these left, but I wanted to make sure that everybody that wants one has a chance to get them. So if you order something through our store, you could request one of these cards. If you don't request it, I'll probably just throw one in at random, but there's no guarantees of that. So it's better if you do order something, make sure you write a little comment and say, hey, I want that thingy. And it's only obviously for packages that we're sending. It doesn't apply to MDFs. So the 2 cards are a brand new red herring, beautiful red herring with the beware the red herring. It smells fishy for a reason. So there's
what size are our cars again?
3.5 by 2.5. They're normal poker size.
The cars. The vehicles.
Or the other card is Great Gonga. So Great Gonga. I find that 1/48 scale it works to my eye, especially if these were on taller bases. But obviously that's. Oh, I can't flip that over. That would be wrong. But anyway, they look a little bit smaller in comparison because of the angle of the camera. But that is about right. Especially if they were on, another 2-inch or so, not 2-inch, but 2 centimeter or 2 millimeter base that lifted them up another 1/16 or an 1/8 inch. That would really be perfect, but I don't like that, so we put them on nice flat bases. These are 1/48 scale. Every vehicle that's on here tonight is 1/48, except for the wagon is 156 for what that matters. And this pickup right here, this is actually more like supposed to be a cargo, like a 2-ton cargo truck or something. But I just use it as a pickup because it's about the size of a pickup in this scale, a relatively small one. But you can get away with using a lot more sizes. We also have some 1/43 scale that we use in for trucks because you can use a nice wide variety of sizes. But to my eye, I find 1/48 scale works the best.
And the minis are 28 millimeter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what they're called. They're maybe, they're a little bit bigger. There's no such thing as a real scale. It's all kind of eyeball when it gets to miniatures. 28 millimeter doesn't really mean anything.
Ooh, the yellow cab. That's my favorite.
I know, isn't that
It's my
beautiful?
favorite car.
Yeah. So like all of these sedans are the same
And
model.
I love that you got the stickers.
I just do them.
Those are my favorite.
I just paint them up different. This is the exact same sedan as this one, and as this one down here. The one thing that they do have is different front ends. So you have, it's a pretty minor difference, but the front end on the grill on this one is slightly different than the grill on this one. So for what it's worth, you could kind of do that differently on your vehicles to kind of make them look a little bit different. So about half of them have this grill in my collection. About half of them have this grill. Now, these are pretty hard to find right now. There was definitely a run on these. So these are getting...
You start trends.
These are nearly impossible to find right now. So hopefully they'll start making them more. Anyway, that company is out of the Ukraine. So that could have something to do with the difficulties, but they are, I love having those models on the table, but they are a real pain to put together. I hate building those models. They're not
I hate when you make them.
Yeah, they're not very good models, but they look beautiful when they're all done and they're sitting on the table. Then they become my favorite model, but for putting them together, hated them.
You get the good with the bad.
So Bessy and I are still debating on whether or not we're going to go to Chicago or Albuquerque for Pulpalooza 2025. It'll be sometime around mid-October. But we're going to try and make a final decision by the end of April. And we'd love to go to both places. Honestly, we would love to go see all of you. So we just have to kind of figure out what we can do and then kind of make it work from there. I wish that we could get around and go to more conventions, but that's just not in the cards right now. So maybe in a couple of years, when the kids are off to college, we'll be able to do something more like that. But right now, I'm kind of stuck.
No, when they're old enough to start taking money at conventions and put them to work. Right now, they just wander.
Yeah, savages. So we talked about the free cards for orders. Hey, take a moment right now and make sure you're hitting that like button for us. We need your support, your help on that. So what's Carl? Let's see what folks are saying tonight. What does Carl got to say?
I always love all the small details on Dave's boards: fire hydrants, street lamps, signage. It all adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Idiot Luggage agrees with our child labor decisions.
Yeah, I think there's a workaround in there, and I could be wrong, but I'm fairly sure if you're working for your family, then you have relaxed child labor laws. So I'm fairly sure.
Is that why people had tons of babies back in the day? They didn't have child labor laws at all.
Don't judge. Nicholas is on here.
From
Hello, Sweden. Nicholas. If you just get rid of your kids, you could travel more.
We could probably pawn them off on my sister.
Like it. Model T was smaller than the Model A. Yep, that is true. But one of the things to remember is how high those cars set, right? If you go to like car shows or you see them in museums and stuff, it's always remarkable how high those cars are. Like these old cars, like the 20s and 30s, you stepped up into those cars. You always, kind of stepped up into it. And that's one thing that I think artists sometimes miss the mark on when they're kind of showing those cars in paintings and things like that. They like make them to more like modern dimensions, and they always kind of don't look quite right to my eye because they're supposed to be pretty big. Modern cars you pretty much step down into. But those old cars, you kind of, you stepped up into them. And that, like a Model A or Model T, anyway, there's plenty of pictures out there. You can kind of get an idea of how they scaled next to a person. If it's not reported, that's true. Yes, you do. Family businesses can get younger kids working. There you go. There you go. I'm pretty sure 4 years old should work just fine. So if you're
She's very smart for a 4-year-old.
she is. She's yeah. Why is my name today VW? Nay, that's not just today. It's pretty much always Nay VW. On ours, when we look at when your name is on the scrolling through the stuff, yeah, Nay VW, yeah.
For some reason, I thought on this it just said Nay.
That's how I remember seeing it.
Well, I know Facebook is that way, but for some reason I thought this was.
Okay, I don't know.
But again, I don't remember what I ate for lunch, so.
We are going to be playing a live game on Sunday, so be sure and join us. It's going to be, we're going back to the core rule book again, and it's
not Lost Keys.
Trail of Clues.
That's right.
Trail of Clues. This is basic scenario number 3. And we're going to work in some of the adventure cards, so that'll be fun. On mine, it shows today. Oh, that's your name, Today VW? Very interesting. If you haven't got signed up for the Scenario of the Month series, you order. Oh, and somebody just signed up today, so we got to make sure we send him the thingy. Yeah, I'll send you the address. So far there are 3 scenarios out. Number 4 is pretty much done. It just needs to be edited. Number 5 still needs some play testing and some tweaking, but number 5 is also pretty close to being done as well. So pushing forward on that. What do you guys want to do at Pulpalooza this year? I guess regardless of where we do it, we'd love to see you guys there. I know we don't want to break anybody's heart that we can't. Obviously, we can't do both. We have
You are a cool kid.
We have so much. Sorry, because I want to be a cool kid. Oh, Bob, you're cool in our book. I keep a book. Is Great Ganga going to be in this scenario? He was in 51. No, I think. In this scenario that we're playing on Sunday, no, he's not showing up there in this.
You know, it's funny because his card was right here. For a second, I was like, Great Ganga appears.
Well, who knows?
And
maybe we'll have. Nay would love that. Nay wants the dinosaur. Okay, well we'll figure out a way.
Manny says games and meatball subs to do in the.
That's what Manny wants. Yay!
I'm down for that.
Yay! We had crazy people coming by trains and planes and cars driving from far off places. Poor Manny drove all the way from Los Angeles. Nay rode a train all the way from Michigan. Poor DW, he drove a couple minutes to get there too. So yeah,
I mean,
people from
probably.
all over,
I think he was
all
like
over the country.
10, 15 minutes.
And there's actually 2 different videos that we're looking at in Chicago. So there was the Fellowship Hall, and then also Marty was looking at a game store that is kind of similar to Slice and Dice. It has, most game stores nowadays have large gaming areas in them, right? That's pretty much the norm, I think, these days. So we'll see how that goes. Nay flee for the first time because she didn't want to take the trade back.
She flew.
Oh, she flew.
Yep.
Didn't want to do the train.
Yep,
Wow.
she sure did.
See, we would actually like to do the train, maybe up until the point that we actually did it.
And I think then, that was her. And then she said,
maybe we would go, no, not doing that again. Not doing that again. Because Max, of course, just absolutely loves trains. That's like his
obsession.
His current obsession, and he has not grown out of it yet. It is still
started at 2.
Yeah.
Going on 6.
Yeah. He's been all about trains for quite a while now. So I think that's the end of our list. Please join us on Sunday. If you have a preference as far as the location, we have two standouts. And that's Chicago and Albuquerque. So those are the two right now that I think have the highest chance of us actually attending.
Unless,
So, what are you saying? So, which one of them comes
bribery.
up with the highest bid? Bride G, I would love to make it have to go to Alaska in August. Wow. Somehow I don't think the train is like in James Bond movies.
No, it is. It's
Charlie
just like in...
Charlie voted for Chicago. I think,
It's the Orient Express.
I think Jody did also. I think Jody up there voted for Chicago. So, and I think we should do it on the moon. Well, I didn't think you'd ask, but thank you, Bob.
Are you offering to fly us? Fly me to the moon.
Like, sub, and click the bell. If you're not a subscriber to our little channel, you ought to be. Pulpalooza, we're going to have a final answer by the end of April. On what we're
end of April.
By the end of April? Yeah, end of April.
Or April Fool's Day.
No, end of April. Yeah. So if you would like to share a comment or a suggestion, go over to Pulp Alley Players Group, because we have a pinned thing over there where you can vote on the poll to see which one you want to go to. And there's some funny ones on there too. Memphis got a lot of votes. Memphis was not on the radar. So, I mean, right. And somebody was asking, how come you're not, Phoenix isn't a choice? Well, we don't decide what the choices are. You guys have to put the choices out there.
But just know, if you say someplace close to you.
Right.
You're my boots on the ground.
Right. Or POC, as the kids like to say. The cool kids, they say POC now.
I only know FUBAR, so if you're gonna do
all right.
that kind of thing, you're...
So yeah, the thing about us doing it somewhere is that we have to count on somebody to be there that will make it happen. Like, because we're not there, we're not just going to show up and hope everything's ready to go. Whoever, says, well, I want to do it in Phoenix, well, yeah, we got to have somebody, we have to have a point of contact in Phoenix that actually is going to make sure that that is actually the host of the event. Because it's not us. It
shall not be me.
We just show up and kind of basically...
Just like everybody else.
We just show up and just
in fact, we brought less things than Vern did.
Wander around bumping into stuff most of the time.
Excuse me.
Stealing dice off of people's trays.
Pilfered a couple cards off Adam's massive...
I tell you what, that Adam, he's got a big deck. I'm not saying I got deck envy or anything like that, but my gosh.
Dear. Okay, we're done.
That fella
we're done. Goodbye.
That fella is
I shouldn't have brought it up.
He has a huge deck.
Say bye, Gracie.
Thanks for playing, everybody. We'll see you soon.